Hello, my name's Katrina, and I decided to start sharing bits of my awareness and knowledge in the hopes that it can help more people. Um, and decided to start that with the topic of one's original signature of emergence. Um, Everyone has one of these. I don't know if other people are using this terminology. I came up with it a few years ago when I started writing a book where I'm attempting to tie together ancient awareness with modern day knowledge and modern day terminology. Um, so, the original signature of emergence, everybody's got one. I don't think that there is a specific or single person alive at this point in time who has achieved their entire undistorted full signature of emergence, re-embodied as part of who they are in their human being self. I think that it's currently impossible to be born into inhabiting a fully undistorted state of one's original signature of emergence. However, I know that it's possible to restore that, and I think that it's blindingly obvious that it's really important to work on restoring that individually and collectively, um, because in doing so, we have personal gains in regards to that in the nature of our life experience. And also, if we are going to experience creating heaven on earth, so to speak, or a golden age, in which it would be possible to be born in that undistorted state, then clearly we've got work to do in order to remove all the distortions and challenges that have posed repeated karmic cycles or traumatic cycles upon us individually and collectively. So, if I share my understanding around this in a kind of an imagery analogy kind of way, imagine a ball, a perfect sphere, and that's the undistorted state. And in that state, there's a continual flow of manifestation that is so quick. It's not an act of doing and wishing and wanting and imagining and visualizing and feeling. It's already there before you realise, I need this and I don't have it, wonder how I'm going to get it. It just happens in a complete flow state. And when there's distortions to that, I'm going to explain that deeper, but when there is distortions to that, it's like there's a Faraday cage around that ball, which has an ever increasingly stronger magnetism to the ball, and in that ever increasing magnetism, it continually creates repetitions of painful and challenging patterns that actually cause harm, deeper and deeper into the ball. Distorting it further and more, and obscuring it from its wholeness and its truth and its freedom and flow. So when there's when a soul integrates with the gestating human, I can't remember what days, I think, or how many days it is when the soul integrates, and the human fetus becomes a souled being. I think it's 41 days. I can't remember, but there's a specific point when the soul starts to integrate with the physical, as it's developing. And from the very get-go, because of like traumas that are written into genetics, or you could call it our ancestral karma, there's already an immediate distortedness happening to that ball. And it's also affected by the way that the mother is, and the energies that the mother takes herself and her gestating human being into, or a child into. And then throughout our entire lives, we're experiencing our experiences, and some of these experiences are harmful to us. They can be lightly harmful to us in terms of like we experience a lack of acceptance or embarrassment, and that can convince us to react by shutting down a part of ourselves in order to ensure that we never go through that discomfort ever again. Or it can be really severe and urgent, where our very survival depends on it because we're experiencing abuse. The choice to shut down parts of ourselves is an unconscious reaction. It's not something that we're immediately really aware of, other than we feel lost when we manage to get free from such things, or when we've shut down so much of ourselves that we're like, oh my God, I can't function anymore. I'm so lost. I don't remember who I am anymore. That kind of thing, you know? And within these experiences where we're convinced to shut parts of ourselves down is also, like that's an inward distortion, but there's also the outer distortion where we internalize ideas that aren't ours and that are out of alignment with our truth and who we are and who we want to be. And these distortions create confusion and pain and dissonance and polarization within our own being. But trauma and karma is accumulative. So if there's the opening within ourselves of like a shut down part, that it creates this opening where like the part that we've shut down holds, every part of ourselves holds a bit of our space that we have for ourselves and a part of our overall boundaries. And when we shut down a part of ourselves, it creates this hole or opening or like an indent in our energy that allows for intrusion to come in and cause harm and load more of this misconceptions stronger and deeper. And this ever accumulation is what creates the intensifying of magnetism to create or manifest in continual repeats. And the more we have internalized, or the more times we've gone through a pattern that's painful and challenging and internalized more stuff and repressed ourselves even deeper, the more intense and frequent the magnetizing of this repeating pattern comes. And we are not taught at this point in time, generally speaking, that every time a painful and challenging pattern reoccurs, there's actually an opportunity. And that opportunity is we can choose to inquire what part of that is shut down. What does that correspond with inside me? Like, and when we understand the part of ourselves that is repressed, then we're able to like release all the misconceptions, all the internalizations. And when we do that, and understand the part of ourselves in a compassionate way, like a parent who's meeting their child who's distressed about something and confused and reacting in a destructive way. When we like meet those parts of ourselves that have been repressed and forgotten about, in that way of understanding and acceptance and realization of what it's for, what it does, its value to us, its necessity to us, in our entirety of being and truth, and our harmony within ourselves. When we do that, the next time we sleep, that part will integrate into our whole cohesion, or our wholeness cohesion, which is the parts of ourself that are active and not repressed, and are not in a state of fragmentation and separation into separate consciousnesses that operate independently from the whole. When we do that, every time we do that, we gain more space and boundary that we might not have been aware of having had for ourselves, maybe the whole time that we can remember of our lifetime, or for many years, since whatever convinced us to start repressing that part. When we do that, when we integrate that part, we also find that we have increase in our awareness, our perspective widens, and our functionality increases as well. So there's a personal gain involved in unrepressing and allowing ourselves to be more and more whole and in cohesion with ourselves. And alongside that, every time we undistort and remove this kind of Faraday cage of like misconceptions, internalized, misaligned ideas and rules for being and expectations and things, we also find that like our ability to manifest is instant. It's so instant that we don't even have the time to be like, I need X and I don't have X. I wonder how I get X. Do you know? So yeah, that's part of what I do with my work with Restore True Emergence. I help people to restore as much of themselves as they can, and to see themselves grow in a self-awareness and to self-actualize. So I think that's everything I want to share in this video. I wish you a wonderful whatever time of day it is, wherever you are when you're watching this. I wish you harmony and love in your journey through life, and all the best until next time. Take care of yourself.